Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Federation Commander Klingon Border. It is a game designed by Steve Cole and published by Amarillo Design Bureau. Well, I had played Starfleet Battles many years ago. A friend of mine was really into the game back in New Jersey, and he kind of talked me into playing one time. I played it. It seemed a little long, and then at a convention he sucked me into play for a full game, and wow, it was really long. It delved a little too much into the minutia that I was not that interested in, especially at that point. To give you an example, there are 32 impulses that you do in a turn in Starfleet Battles. In Federation Commander, the intent of this game is to streamline that process, and now you only will have 8 impulses, plus everything's color-coded to make it easier to track different systems and everything. Some of the dice mechanics have changed, and it still gives you that grand scope, but it kind of streamlines it to make it faster and more enjoyable, to get it on the table quicker, and hopefully introduce more people to the game. And it is a brilliant system. It's a lot of fun, very detailed. Starfleet Battles is. But this is a much more streamlined system, which is great because now more people may be interested in playing it, and that's why I grabbed it, because I have always wanted to try it again, but I wanted something faster. I found out this one was out, it was streamlined, so I went ahead and grabbed a copy when I had a chance. Take a look at the back of the box here. It says, defend the Federation or bring glory to the Empire. Take the helm of a Constitution-class heavy cruiser and hold the border against the Klingon invasion. 2 game scales. Command the sweeping armadas of a major battle in fleet scale, or get an intimate look at ship handling in the detail-rich squadron scale. Designed from the ground up for fast play, the laminated full-color ship cards let you play immediately. The dynamic power allocation gives you flexible command of a starship, while the damage allocation system focuses on the action, not die rolling. Contents in the game: you get complete rules, scenarios, and background, 256 full-color die-cut playing pieces, 2 6-sided die, 16 laminated full-color double-sided ship cards, 6 panel-mounted color map boards. So that will give you an idea of what you get. Now let's take a look inside. The game does have a sleeve, and I gotta say, I really do dig that cover. I like the traditional, old-school, original series Starfleet uniforms and Klingons, and the Klingon look, and it's just really fantastic. Nothing against Next Generation or Enterprise. Those are great series, but you know, original series is what started it all, and that's what we all remember growing up watching on TV. Here are your ship cards. We get a Federation Commander pencil, 2d6, some, it looks like paper clips. It says Starfleet Battle Force Action card. I'm not sure what gameplay effect that has. I'm sure it does. And then you get your rule book, a couple of player aids, die-cut counters, and here are the maps. So let's flip these maps out. These are your maps. They look pretty straightforward, standard hex maps with a space background. Doesn't look like there's any actual terrain on them other than the background nebulae and stars and galaxies on there. And that is the front side with these smaller standard size hexes, and then on the back you have larger hexes, so you get basically 12 maps, and these are all mounted, so these are nice, thick, sturdy maps, so you can lay it on the table. And these things are shedding a little bit, but let's just put a couple of them out side by side so you can see what we're talking about here, and that's what it would look like your playing surface, depending on what the scenario called for. 2 maps, 4 maps, 6 maps, whatever. Take a look at these player reference cards, and we get 2 of them, and it gives you the sequence of play A and B. It gives you your phasers, I should say energy cost of fire, the die roll, and then it goes through each of the impulses. First 4 impulses in sequence of play A, the second 4 in sequence B. Remember how I said, or are 32 in Starfleet Battles? This one cuts it down to 25% of the original. And then we have system type, that's damage, repair costs. All your systems are now color-coded, which makes it easier to look up and determine what it is you are needing to fix and what the repair cost is going to be. Then you have your firing arcs and marine hit and run tables, laboratory research, and then on the back you have your damage allocation chart, phasers. You got your phaser 1, phaser 3, phaser 2 is on the front, disruptors and photons. And like I said, everything is color coded, which does help out quite a bit. especially when you look at these ship cards, which we're going to look at next. I'll leave this out so you can see what I'm talking about. These ship cards now, all of them, everything's color-coded, and these are nice cardstock thickness, laminated, double-sided ship cards, and like Federation Heavy Cruiser, Squadron scale, Federation Heavy Cruiser, Fleet scale. So when you're playing Squadron or Fleet scale, you can just flip it over and use that side. And everything is color-coded like we were just talking about. Makes it easier to look up everything and kind of cross-reference what it is you are needing to check off. And that's what you do. You keep track of everything that you use. You use a shuttlecraft here. You just check it off. If it takes damage, you check off all these shields, different areas of the ship that take damage, and then you have your counter number. So you have on your counters that are out here, say we want to use this counter here, we just put down counter number 1 up here, and that way we know as counter number 1 is moving around, this is the ship card to match it up to. So we've got Federation Heavy Cruiser, Federation Dreadnoughts, Light Cruisers, Frigate, Battle Cruiser. Now we get into the Klingon, we got the D7 Battle Cruiser, we got Dreadnought, Frigate, Heavy Cruiser. Looks pretty much the same as the Federation. Then you have your Heavy Battle Cruiser, Zinti Battle Cruiser, Frigate, Orion Pirate Raider, Tholian Patrol Corvette, and then these are small freighters, large freighters, and large freighter and heavy freighter on the opposite side, and then battle station, starbase, depending on what scale you're at. If it's squadron scale, it's a battle station, starbase, it is going to be fleet scale, and on the back you have the planet killer. So that looks like it means serious business, but that is a look at the ship cards. And now we'll take a look at these counters, and you got the larger size, looks like an inch size counter for the Federation and Federation Zinti, Tholian, Klingons, and I guess that must be the planet killer. PKLR looks like a giant carrot, does it not? So we've got those. Then we've got our half-inch counters for the squadron scale. You've got your Federation and then your Klingon and the Zinti hegemony here, and you've got your energy tokens for administrative needs, and then your planet killer again. Now we'll take a look at the rulebook. The rulebook is 60 pages, got a very loud orangey pink cover. On the back of that is the same information you get on the player aid card. I like the player aid cards much better. And then we start off, movement is covered, combat, weapons, systems, and then in chapter 6, 7, and 8, you got terrain ships and the scenarios. And at the back, you have an index, which is really, really important and necessary when you have a 60-page rule book. Makes it so much quicker to look up a rule. So you got your energy allocation, and that's one of the things right off the bat. This game, Starfleet Battles, and this one, even though this is the streamlined version, it's going to be the same in this regard. The game is really about power management, managing your power on your ships and all your systems to be able to be effective in combat, and that includes how much power it's going to cost you, not only for shields and weapons, but also for turns and things like that. So it really does put you, I like the feeling that it did give you, even though the deep minutia kind of did feel a little frustrating at times, I did like how it really did make you feel like you're sitting in the captain's chair and making all those decisions that Kirk made look so easy. But we've got our movement procedures and energy cost of movement. Here's a good example of what I was just talking about. You have to pay your energy to do your movement and the different types of movement that are available to you. You can accelerate, decelerate, turn. There's different types of turn modes. You can side slip, for example. And then you've got different combination moves, rotation, moving in reverse, stopping versus speed 0. And you've got your emergency deceleration, evasive maneuvers, docking, landing, disengagement, the Gorn. Who doesn't love the Gorn? And you've got historical background on the Klingon border. Then we get into combat operations with using direct fire weapons, seeking weapons, friendly fire, volleys, and then ranges, firing arcs, which we saw on the player aid cards. And then you have shields, shield reinforcement, shield regeneration, shield burn through. direct targeting, damage allocation charts. Here's some more. What you saw on the player aid card, there's another example of that, so that way you can read through it. Frame damage. Then we go on to weapons. You have your direct fire weapons, phasers, different types of phasers 1 through 4, and then the tables on how to read those, photon torpedoes, how to arm them, how to overload them, how to fire them. And then you have disruptors, anti-drones, seeking weapons. In the seeking weapons, we've got drones, suicide shuttlecraft, suicide freighters, and plasma torpedoes. And then how to adjust speed on those, or how to handle the speed, I should say, how the weapons impact, how to stop them. You've got your drones, then there's some special Federation rules, plasma torpedoes with some illustrated examples, and then you've got plasma torpedoes in combat, how they work, and the different types of fusion beams. We get into our systems, we have our control systems, probes, and then the different scales, how you're going to use the ship cards at different scales. Tractor beams, how to tractor a target. Transporters, how to use those. Marine boarding parties, so that way you can send the red shirts over to get killed. Capturing enemy ships. Repair procedures, damage control, reloads, shuttlecraft, and how they're used. Suicide shuttles, cargo, stealth coding, engine power, Tholian web, and then some notes on some weapons and cloaking devices, and the effects that those have in the game. Then you have your terrain here, which explains how that affects combat and movement and things, medium-sized planets, landing tractors, moons, larger planets, gas giants, and then we got ships that start here on page 47. This explains the colors of the ship card, how to track everything with the shields, weapons, things like that, and then it gives you a rundown on all the counters, what they are. You can look it up in here, and it gives you the base information on the different weapons, different ships that are in the game. Then you have your scenarios. That is a look inside Federation Commander Klingon Border from Amarillo's Design Bureau. And if you have ever been interested in Starfleet battles, but were maybe a little intimidated by the depth of it and how much information you have to work through and churn through each turn, this might be a good place to start. That's why I've got it, because it was way more time than I have to dedicate to it, and I'm hoping this will allow me to get that same experience in a much faster format. Hope it helps you guys out. If you're interested, post any comments or questions down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.